Steps I Took podcast.
Back in the Dubai studio.
Back at it again, Daniel.
Yes, I'm excited to be back here again. And I love it when we wear green because we blend into the studio.
Yeah, we just sit with the ambience of the room and stuff. How are you?
I'm good. I've been here working all day, staring at the screen, staring at my phone, staring at my laptop. So I'm really, really happy to be here. No screen time and just focusing on someone else's story.
Nice. And I'm excited about today's show. Reason being, and actually before you even get into that, I'm Giovanni.
I'm Achasa.
And this is the Steps I Took podcast.
This is the podcast where we take you, the listener, on a journey of someone else's story to draw wisdom from their story and hopefully embed it into your own.
And today's guest, I am actually really looking forward to delving into conversation with, because it's someone who actually, even before I became a DJ, I used to listen to, even before I was, even allowed to go out at night and stuff. Like I would be listening to his mix CDs and stuff. And, since then he's gone on to do a lot of things as an award-winning DJ, international, probably the biggest output from the UK in terms of like international acclaim and stuff. And so I'm very much looking forward to getting into a conversation with today's guest that goes by the name of Scottie B.
Woo!
Welcome, bro.
Welcome.
Yeah. How you doing, man?
I'm good. I like we all match the theme today.
Yeah.
You're telepathically with us today. I like that.
You're aligned.
Before we get into your story, we like to ask all of our guests the same question, and that is, what has been a highlight from your last 7 days?
The last 7 days. Ooh, that's actually a very good one straight away. Something I've been working on for I'd say about 2 years. Literally is more or less a week or two away from happening.
Wow.
So, yeah, and it just happened in, literally, like you said, 7 days. It's probably happened within that space. Like one conversation, one phone call, and then everything that I've wanted to do in 2 years has basically been done. So,
are we going to get to hear about it yet? Can you
let me ask the boss,
allude?
can I say certain things?
A little exclusive something?
Okay,
Yeah.
I can say a little bit. Okay, so can I say what it's about? Okay.
I'm like, come on, boss.
Because she's very much, I can't say anything. But to be fair, it's I'd say we're 80% done. So it's an app that I've been working on. So when I DJ, I play on USBs, and in order to trigger my sound effects and stuff, there's an app that I use. But as anything, I want it more tailor-made for a DJ and for me. So that's basically what I'm working on, and yeah, that's all I'll say for now.
I know firsthand, I've been working on the app for just over a year.
Yeah.
If I knew what being a tech bae was about, I would not have signed up. No.
But it's about finding the right people. So thankfully I found the right person, and yeah, it's gone 0 to 100.
Congratulations.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's sick.
Thank you.
Because I see you with the iPad in the clubs and that.
Yeah, and
oh,
obviously,
Lord,
yeah.
all them sound effects and stuff like. But yeah, man. So I guess we should have reintroduced it as like Scottie B, international award-winning DJ and businessman / app developer.
Yeah, literally all the hats as well.
I mean, it's an idea, but the other person, which I'll mention eventually, yeah, they did all the technical side. But yeah, the idea and obviously what I wanted, he's basically brought that to life, so.
I often look at you and I think, what made Scottie decide to DJ? As a kid, what was your environment like to inspire that?
I wouldn't say it's a weird one. It's basically, I was into sports a lot. So I was doing sports 6 days a week. So I had football, rugby, athletics, every day. And then, what was it? Yeah, every day except Friday. But I did it every day. And then one summer, it was one holiday, I can't remember. I don't know if it was the summer or half term or something. I borrowed a deck because I already had a mixer. From a Caribbean household, we always have sound stuff all around us. So I had a mixer in the house, borrowed my friend's turntable, and then had a Discman somewhere. People that don't know, something that plays CDs. And then, I was just literally messing around with that. And then I was like, I like this. And then I kind of just got into it more. And then as the time went on, say like 6 months to a year, I'm around like say 14, 15. I was like, I didn't really want to be getting up early in the morning in the cold, training or doing whatever, you know. And then, yeah, it kind of just slowly went that way. I mean, after I did my first set at a club when I was like 16, that's when I was like, yeah, this is the way I want to go.
But before you did your first set in the club, weren't you like 14 on the radio?
No. I was on the radio when I was like 16, I think, 16, 17. Because basically I went to, I grew up with my grandparents mainly. I was living with them. So originally I'm from North London, Tottenham.
But you support
Arsenal, of course.
I just had to make sure just that.
Most of the ends support Arsenal. But anyway. But yeah, no. So I went to school in Surrey, basically. And then what I would do, once I started DJing, obviously the radio was down in Finsbury Park. It's a station called Freak FM, which is like the biggest garage station at the time. So these times I'm around 15, 16, something like that. So what I would do when I got to like 5th year, year 11, obviously you're allowed to like leave early and those kind of things. So yeah, every Friday I would finish school. My boy who could drive, who's in the 6th form or whatever, would take me to the tube station, and I'd get on this train, the tube from Hatton Cross by Heathrow, and go all the way to Finsbury Park. It's like an hour and a half, and I have my records on me. I had a record box, record bag, clothes for the weekend because I'll stay at my mum's, and then do the radio at like 4 till 6 or something. Yeah, was it 4 till 6? Yeah, 4 till 6, and then I'd have the club at night, which was nearby there. That's when I've started that club.
But just to rewind a little bit, how did you even get these opportunities as a 15, 16-year-old kid?
So all of that, the radio and the club stuff, or just like getting into the DJing thing?
Well,
in
all
general?
of it, really, because you have to be able to get into the DJing and be good enough to then...
The DJing side, that was, once I thought, this is definitely what I want to do. I got some like cheap turntables. I got like some SoundLab belt drive decks, if you know what they are. Like literally you press stop on them and it literally sounds like a brick. It's like, it's literally some old deck. But I literally practiced on them for like every day as soon as I came home for like 6 months straight, to the point where I was able to do like a 1 hour or 90-minute mix. Like when I was recording on tapes and stuff, I can record a whole mix and like no clanging, like it was just seamless kind of thing. So that was how I trained myself, because no one taught me anything, no one showed me how to use anything. I just worked it all out.
And your grandparents didn't mind you making noise?
No, well, this is the next thing. So they didn't mind, but because obviously, you know, our grandparents are in certain households, like I used to have the music so low, like it was, say the amp went to 10, I had it on like 0.5, like to the point where like Girani would know, like on vinyl, when you're playing, like when you put the needle on the record, you can, if like say we're in a room that's silent, you can hear the music through the record. So it just sounds like that. Like I used to mix like that. That's just listen to the hi-hats and stuff. And sometimes it was that low, like that's how I'd be like getting mixes seamless kind of thing. So in the long run, it helped because obviously I can hear different things, or I use different things to listen to when I'm mixing. But from there, made a mix, and then the club set was a friend of mine who was doing events, and they were like, you know, people in the area in North London, and they were just like, do you want to play? I was like, yeah, cool. And then it just went from there. Obviously, you just start out on the first set, you know, you always do like the early set and things like that. And then you just build it from there, kind of thing.
Did you know, like, I mean, well, two things. First of all, if you was to listen back to that first mix you made now, like, would you say that is to the level of Scotty today, or like, would you? Definitely
not technically, but mixing wise, probably. I mean, the mix is probably a bit longer. Like I let the song play a bit longer, but obviously from the UK, our thing has always been, it's more about the mix. Do you know what I mean? Because I say more UK and Europe, it's always been like mixing and blending, and then like the States and stuff, especially with hip hop, it's more about scratching and that kind of thing, and turntablism. So for me, initially, my whole thing was like, especially playing like house and garage and stuff like that, it's all about making sure the mix is tight and, it sounds seamless. So that's all I cared about, you know. So as long as it sounded perfect, then that was cool. But yeah, I think I might look back and be like, oh, this is what I was doing. That should be all right.
Yeah. So like, where's your head at in terms of going forward? Are you like, actually, this is something I want to do, or like, are like your grandparents telling you get back to school? Like, what's going on?
No, I mean, it was a thing where, I mean, I was still doing school, and obviously these times it's a thing where my family, like especially my mum, she loves music. Everything's music with my mum. So it was always a case where it was like, okay, well, if this is what you want to do, then you need to do your schooling. So obviously I did my GCSEs. Then they were like, okay, you need to do your A-levels. I'm like, all right, fine. And then it was like, oh, no, you need to go uni. They made sure, because they were always like, you know, you need to have a backup just in case. And I said, okay, cool. By the time I got to uni, because you can kind of choose what you do, it's a bit more limited when it was A-levels. But at uni, I was like, okay, well, I'm going to do something to do with music. So I chose sound engineering. And so at least it was in the field.
Did you find sound engineering actually helped with your DJing career?
The DJing side, that more helped and opened me more to the production side. It helped in that sense, but because it was more sound engineering and music business. So yeah, it helped definitely 100%, but it was definitely helped more towards the producer music side.
So like, are you happy you did it?
Oh no, 100%. Yeah, 100%. Because yeah, obviously, just even with that, learning patch bays and just things I would have never, you know, thought of or probably seen until later on. It helps because especially the more I did, you get put into different positions. So all of a sudden, I'm in a studio with an artist, or I'm in a studio making mixing an album. But then the engineer that's there is doing things, and I'm understanding what he's doing. So now I can say to him, okay, I don't like that, change that there. Or where I'm used to obviously just having a tape, and like if there's a mistake, I've got to do the whole tape again. Now I'm seeing like programs where it's like, okay, well, there's a mistake, you can redo this mix, and then we splice it together. And I'm like, okay, I'm seeing different things, you know. So yeah, it helped, but I guess it was all part of the progression.
Yeah,
of everything.
For sure.
So then, so you're doing A-levels, production, and now are you thinking of like university, or are you thinking of like going into what were you thinking?
Making me think a long time ago.
Bringing you back.
No, I mean, I definitely wasn't thinking about production. I just wanted to DJ. Because those days when you're going to like record shops and you're buying the songs and whatever, there's like, because those days obviously to promote raves you'd be flyering and stuff, so there's flyers everywhere. And I remember obviously you have the flyers and you have them on your wall and all this kind of stuff, and then you see all these different names and you're just like, all I was thinking is like, yeah, I'd want to be on this event with that DJ. Or because you start seeing, when you get like loads of flyers, you start seeing the same names, but like at the top kind of thing. It's like, yeah, I need to be there, and that kind of thing. So that was kind of my thinking. It was always, yeah, DJing. That's always what I loved.
Not to jump ahead too far, but do you remember the first time or the time your name was actually on the flyer?
That's a good question, actually.
Because if that's one of the goals that's been motivating you and pushing you, like, that's what I want.
But the thing is, I don't think it was ever to be at the top of the flyer. I think for me, thinking back, it was just to be on with those people.
Okay, yeah.
Just to be like recognized as one of the best with these other DJs, you know, that was my thing. Which is funny because now a lot of those people I can actually call friends or like near close family. I can call them up and things like that, which is crazy to think because funny enough, someone asked me the other day and we got into a conversation. It was just mad to think these people were on my wall and then now they're in my phone book and we can just talk anytime, you know? So yeah, it's actually, yeah, it's crazy to think, to be honest.
That's sick. That's like, wow, that is an achievement. Like a lot of people wonder what success means to them.
This is the thing, it's different for everyone. And obviously you can set goals, but then I'm sure you've heard it, like a lot of people that are successful, when you hit that goal, then it's like you get another goal and then another goal. So it's like, cool, you've hit that point. So in theory, that's success. You've made it to a point. Do you know what I mean? Now you've go to the next stage. It's like, okay, cool, that's success again. Do you know what I mean? But then success to you, for example, as another DJ, you may think success is getting on national radio. Whereas for me, I might think success is, I don't know, touring with an artist, for example. Do you see what I'm saying? Everyone's different. Everyone's different. For me, it's just, just choose your own goals and then just tick them off as it goes. You know what I mean? You can't really look at anyone else because it's your journey, you know?
Yeah. So you said that you were like playing house, garage and stuff, but the Scottie I know today is more than house, garage, you know? Like, so like...
Well, how did that happen kind of thing? To be honest, so I was with a company, a brand called Twice as Nice. And that was like a big stepping stone for me to get from, 16, 18-year-old, doing small events to now start doing big events. So I got big up Ironik for that. Because it was through Ironik that I got the link through to Twice as Nice, and then I started doing their events. And then the more I did, it got to a point where when garage started to kind of die off, basically, like my manager at the time, he was like, well, obviously he knew I love playing garage. He was just like, look, I can get you work playing garage, but it's going to be less work. Because obviously of the way everything's going. He goes, or you can have more work, but you'd have to play everything. And I was like, well, I love DJing, and I don't mind playing. And the thing is, I played everything in the house. I just didn't play it when I went out. Because those days you had separate rooms, and you had like a R&B hip hop room, dancehall, and then you had your garage and your house room. So it wasn't really mixed up, So I was like, well, DJing is my thing. Like I love, as the years have gone on, my love is DJing. Like I love music obviously, but I just want to DJ, So I think it was then, and then I just started playing everything really.
A lot of our guests come on here and they really smooth over a lot of the things that they've done. They make it seem so passive, like it was so easy, and completely miss out the fact that there's a lot of relationship building that goes into all of this kind of thing. And actually there's a lot of trust that's been put in you by whoever it is that is recommending you to someone else. I don't know about you guys, but when I recommend somebody to somebody else, it's because I trust in what they do. And also, I don't want to recommend anyone who has fucked over somebody else or would mess them around or in any kind of way where it then looks bad on me or looks bad or will negatively impact that person who I'm trying to effectively help.
So regarding that, the funny thing is, I mean, I was young, but Ironik started even younger. The same club I was playing at, he came in, I think he was like 10 or 11, and he came in with his dad. His dad carried his box and everything, and I was like, "Is this kid playing?" But he was sick, and then obviously we got talking more to his dad. I'd obviously speak to him, but obviously he's a little kid. He's just like seeing everything, and then I can't remember how it came about, but his dad was basically the brother of the owner of Twice as Nice. So my thing was just like, okay, cool, I've got a mix. Can you pass it on? Like, that's literally all it was. I'm not asking like, can you get me on Twice? I was like, I've got the mix. So he said, no problem. So he passed it on. Thankfully he did. Thankfully they liked it. And then they said, okay, cool, do you want to do a set? I think it was in Kingston at the time, in like their back room. So I was like, yeah, for sure. Went there. Honestly, can't remember what year this was. I'm bad with dates, I should tell you. But I went there and the room was dead. Obviously, it's like the back room, whatever. I didn't care. I was just like, listen, it's a start. This is what you got to do. Anyway, I started playing 5 people, 10 people. Before you knew it, the room was like half full. And then I don't know what happened, but then out of nowhere, bearing in mind, I'm just DJing, I'm not on the mic, not doing anything. Then all of a sudden, like I heard like check. I'm thinking, who's got the mic kind of thing. Then I turn around and then I see DT, MC DT. And I was just like, obviously, like I said, I'm 18 by this time or something now, 18, 19. I'm just like, my heart started pounding. Again, this is one of the people that's on the flyer, but then obviously I'm hearing mixtapes and tape packs and all these things, and I'm hearing it, so I'm just like, bro, DT's here. So I'm like, all right, cool. And then I don't know, whatever song I played, all of a sudden I said, Scottie B on the ones and twos. And like, you know that lyric? That's that iconic lyric. Literally, just my whole body just went, oh, like my heart was just like, but then I didn't get nervous. It got me excited. I was like, all right, cool, it's go time. And then I just started playing, and then all of a sudden the room's rammed. So then that night happened, sick night. They were saying apparently that room had never been busy before. It was just like their second room. Like if people come, everyone's always in the main room. So they were like, cool, do you want to do it again? I was like, yeah. Like, yeah. So then I think it was the next week, came back. Same thing happened, got the room busy again. This time, DT's come back, and this time I think Creed's walked in.
Right.
And that was, for me, just, yeah. And then from there, everything just started, you know, snowballing, and just kind of just took its own direction, really.
Because I knew you and Ironik were like friends and that, but I didn't know actually the backstory. So that's actually interesting.
Yeah. Like I've known him literally since he started. Like this is literally like my little brother. So, but yeah, no, if it wasn't, you know, for his family, like literally, I get, you know, passing on the mix, and from then obviously we became mad close. So yeah, you know, we're always in contact.
It sounds like you had a level of confidence, though, even at such a young age, to have confidence in what you do, how it sounds, and even to the point of going up to somebody and being like, here's my mixtape, whether it's to pass it on or just to even listen to it. I'm trying to think, like, at 16, would I have had that level of confidence? I don't think in the same way. So where did that come from?
I don't know. I think for me, I think that time, it could have been I was 17. It might have been a year had passed. But either way, I think for me, because I'd spent so much time in my room practicing, and I guess I'd take some of it from sports, because obviously when you're running and sprinting and stuff, you're training every day or you're doing whatever. So for me, I looked at it as like, well, again, you're listening to pirate radio and you're hearing other people play and things like that. So I'm looking at it from that point of view of like, okay, well, this is what I'm hearing. This is the so-called level. I'm listening to what I've got. This literally sounds like that. So that's the level. So if I can do that, then that, to me, in my head, I was like, well, that means I'm ready. Obviously, it's different when you get out there and you're now in front of people. But thankfully, by then, it's kind of the same, but not. But I'd done like house parties with school friends or hall parties, and, you know, me and my friend would pack up the car with speakers and lights and stuff and go and do parties. So you're technically in front of people. So I'd kind of got that out of the way. It wasn't like I just went from the bedroom straight to a club and like now I'm playing in front of people. I'd already done, like I said, house parties, hall parties, stuff like that. So I guess the confidence was there, but I think it was more just, well, like I said, those days, that was the way to get on. Whether it was an event, a radio station, you had to give people a mix. Everyone was like, yeah, well, give me your mix, you know? So that's what I knew how to, you know, get forward. So I was like, well, yeah, here's my mix. Like, I'm confident it's good. So if you like it, cool. If you don't, then all that would have probably shown me was like, okay, well, twice as nice as the level where all these big DJs are. So if they don't like it or it doesn't work, then clearly I'm not at that level yet, despite what I think on my end, you know. But yeah.
So that must have just validated what you believed in yourself.
Yeah.
Like, you know, first of all, getting DT to, because it's one thing for an MC to come on to the beat and just spray, but when he's remixing the bars and saying your name and stuff, and then coming back with another MC that's known, and then the venue or the brand are asking you to come back again. So that, what did that do to your confidence? Did that just kind of take it to another level, or?
Yeah, no, for sure. I think, again, like you were saying about making it and things like that, I think at that point I was like, okay, this is, I guess you tick this off. This is that step now. Like now we're going up a level again. Because instead of doing like clubs in the ends, like 100, 200 people, now there's like 1,000 people, 1,500 people, 2,000 people. And that's slowly becoming the norm, you know? So, yeah, I guess, I don't know. I mean, you see me now, like my whole personality is just more laid back. So I was always like, yeah, it's 5 people, cool. I'll go back to say for me, because I know I did the groundwork. I shouldn't feel any kind of way because I've prepared myself, you know, like obviously you can never, if the crowd doesn't like what you play or something like that, that's different. But your general ability and what you're putting out, if that's of a level that you know is at a standard, then why shouldn't you feel confident, you know?
It's interesting that you like you said, because I was actually, that was one of the things I was going to ask you, is like I see you now as, I mean, the Scottie that I see today, like even in terms of, for example, like the way you dress and stuff, you know, like is even different to say when I used to come to Dubai on holiday. I remember, I think the first time I came to Dubai on holiday, maybe like not even the first time, but it was maybe about 5-6 years ago, F1 weekend. And I don't even think I don't think we connected properly like before, like, and then I think it was you and a couple of other DJs in Abu Dhabi, and then the Scottie back then was like shades, big bulky chains, like, and then obviously like, so that's interesting to kind of see the difference, you know.
I mean, I still like all of that, to be fair. I just kind of pick and choose. I mean, I should have worn one today, actually. Nah, I kind of just pick and choose. But then also, I think as I got older, just certain things happened. Like, for argument's sake, the jewelry thing, really, that kind of came down to before my wife and I moved over here to Dubai. It was like a week before we moved. I had a booking, and randomly in South London, left the house, and basically the house got burgled a week before we were meant to leave. And obviously the little bit of money I had there, my passport, everything, jewelry, everything was in. They took the bag, but it was just like there was nothing in the bag. So it's like they must have just seen the bag, and so yeah, this literally all happened. So then at that time, it was kind of like, all right, well, obviously, again, you've done it for however long. So you see, it's like, cool, I like the jewelry and stuff, but I got other things to do with right now. Do you know what I mean? So, like, I have it there, but now, like I said, I more pick and choose where I wear it instead of just wearing it every day kind of thing. Because, yeah, it's stuff that I do like, but yeah.
Now you're about the dope and clean and...
Yeah, you know, it has to be clean and everything, you know.
You have had so many achievements in your life, like literally top of your game, top of your craft. And there's a lot of people that listen to this podcast who are working really hard in whatever their craft is to get an achievement that's even marginally on par to the kind of achievements that you've had. Do you have any advice that you can offer to people who are working really hard within their industry to hit the kind of achievements you've hit?
It's a hard one, because I'd say there's been a lot of wow moments, because for me, I could say it's the first time I traveled. It's for DJing. The first time, like, I've done TV, I've done national radio, I've done like album compilations. Do you see what I'm saying? I've done all of that, so they were all wow moments. And even to this day, like, I've taught as well, done teaching and stuff here and there. And one thing I tell everyone that I've taught or something like that is be real with yourself. So, like I said, I knew the work I put in to be as good as I could be at the time. Obviously, I've got better as time's gone on, because you always keep learning. But I knew, like, okay, this is the level I'm at, and this is what I'm up against. But then it's like, okay, who's at the very, very top? What do they do that I can't? And then how do I fix that? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, I've always based my career on my ability, that I back everything on my ability. I mean, I know it's, they say it's who you know and all those kind of things. It's like, yeah, it's cool, but even if, like, I know a lot of people, but there's still a lot of things I don't do, So for me, I'm kind of like, well, it's clearly not just who you know then, but I've been able to sustain a career from 16, because that's literally what I've done from 16 to now, just DJing.
Well, not just DJing, because you've done TV, radio, presenting.
It's all from, but it's all from DJing. It's all stemmed from that, and it's all because of that,
If you weren't a DJ, what would you be doing, do you think?
Well, hopefully it would have been sports. I would have tried to do that. If it wasn't, then, yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. But, yeah, those were the two options, to be honest.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
When you've gone and done other things like producing, interviewing, all these other things, have you ever tried something else where you've been like, ooh, this is on par to DJing?
Personally, no. The filming, that was just long as hell. I wouldn't say I didn't enjoy it, but it was just very long.
Tell us about that. What was the filming for?
So I had a show on MTV Bass. It's called From the Ends. I think we were the first. I think we were the first show, because obviously I think at the time you had Trevor Nelson had the lick, and obviously he was interviewing a lot of big artists and stuff like that. But I think the one we had was like the first one on MTV Bass anyway to be interviewing like local artists. So we go to different areas and interview. So for example, we interviewed Stush, Pirelli, Tyler Daly, who went by Hoodman those times, Tinchy Strider, N-Dubs did. But yeah, so it was literally going to their area, seeing what they're about, how their environment shaped them, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it was a good experience, because one thing with me, I hate talking on the mic. So yeah, I hated it. So now being kind of front and center, having to then interview people is like, because I was doing a little bit on radio when I had pirate radio. So like artists would come over, and I had a friend of mine, or two friends, Reggie and Reds, they were a part of the Sony Street team. So when artists would come over, the artists would do interviews. So they'd be like, we've got Mario, for example, or Chris Brown, like, do you want to interview them? It was just like, okay. You know, this is like when he first came out. So when Run It first came out.
Even still, like, an American artist has come over, you have the opportunity to interview them. That's a sick opportunity.
No, but that's why I took it, even though I was, but see, so you're saying about the confidence thing. I wasn't confident in it because I knew I don't like talking. Yeah, so I can't remember if it was Chris or Mario. I'm sure it was Mario, because I've interviewed him twice. And I've actually done a few events with him, so I've kind of have a relationship with him. But I remember it was even like one of them, like I said, and I remember asking a question, and obviously you have your question set out, and I asked the question, and literally that answer just took out all my questions, and I was just like literally started feeling hot, and I'm just sitting there, and I was literally like.
And this is live, right? On
no, it wasn't live. No. It was
okay.
it was a pre-record. So that I never do it live. So yeah. And then,
but here's the thing: you're used to being confident. You're not used to being in situations where you're being pushed to this kind of level where you're outside of your depth.
I was literally just stuttering, and then they just started talking. They just lengthened the answer more, but then as soon as they did that, it then became a conversation, and then whatever they said, it just all came naturally. I'm like, oh, so X, Y, Z, blah, 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 and then we just went from there. And that's when I learned, that was, I guess, what you say, the defining moment of learning, like, okay, interviews and stuff are more conversation.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying? So by the time I got to MTV, obviously I'd done like radio and stuff and interviewed people before, but now when I'm doing it, I thought, okay, it's more of a conversation. Cool, we've got our questions, but let's have a conversation, and then the questions will come naturally, you know? So again, it was a learning point, but they helped me a lot. And then afterwards I said, thank you. They were like, no, it's cool. Like, I know how it is. Cause again, even as big artists, they've been in that position because they had to start at one stage, even though they're getting asked questions. It's like, okay, well, how do I answer this? Or do I just, like, some artists, you ask them questions, it's just like, yes. Or they'll just give like a 2-word answer, you know, kind of like, okay, next question.
Yeah.
You know, so that helped a lot.
So like because MTV Bass, you know, do you remember MTV Bass? Like, MTV Bass was, you know, you kind of glossed over it like it's like a small thing. Like, oh yeah, I was just on MTV Bass, and that, like, how did that opportunity come about?
So that came about from when I got on Choice FM at the time.
Yeah. So for listeners who don't know MTV Bass or Choice FM, MTV Bass was like the.
They know MTV. So
yeah.
MTV obviously is the main station. MTV Bass was like the BET of MTV, basically.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, that's the best way I can put it. And yeah, then I was on Choice FM, which was the first black station in the UK, in London anyway, that covered most of London, which is now Capital Extra.
Yeah.
It went into Capital Extra. So basically, I got onto Choice. Big up Steps, Master Steps. He's the one who actually got it all sealed, to be honest. Because at the time, I had pilots on like Kiss and One Extra. And at that time, I'd been on radio for ages, like pirate radio and doing different like guest shows and stuff. But they had me doing pilots, like basically like training, you might as well say. So I'm like, okay, cool, but I can't do anything because I'd be in a room and there's decks here and I'm talking and I'm just talking to a wall, but it's not live. So I'm kind of like, okay, I can do this. But again, I don't talk, innit? So I can talk, but I don't have anything to interact with. So there's no one calling the phone, there's no texts, I'm just having to make stuff up, basically become an actor. And I'm like, this isn't me. Like, just give me a show or give me something and let me just do one show and then, you know, we can decide from there. Anyway, this happened for however long. And then Steps and my manager, Steve, was talking to the owners at Choice. And then I think Steps was just come up on the radio, man, just come. It's just like, all right, cool. So I went with him. And again, obviously I mixed and stuff, so that was, you know, if everyone was like, okay, yeah, you're sick, you know, DJing. But then the banter between me and him and just obviously me talking, I think I did it once, max twice, but I'm sure it was after the first one. They were like, yeah, do you want to do your show? But it was late. It was like, yeah, like 3 till 5 in the morning. I'm like, start's a start, like a show is a show. So yeah, I was doing 3 till 5 a.m. on a Friday and a Saturday, but I'm still DJing. So I'm doing my set and then going straight to the radio afterwards. And then I managed to get artists and stuff up there at that time, which again, no one was really doing. Like I had, like Kyla's a good friend when she did Do You Mind, so I did her first interview up there. Managed to get Alicia Dixon up there because I was DJing for her at the time. I got, what came up there? Harmony. H Money's a big producer now. I had a few people, but yeah, I just tried to make the best of what I could do, you know. But yeah, it kind of stemmed from there, and then being on the radio, they were doing a joint something with MTV. So then it all just kind of merged together. They were like, okay, do you want to be part of it, kind of thing? I was like, well, yeah.
Do you think you actually started to enjoy talking?
Probably on the radio, yes, but talking in a club, no. On the radio, I didn't mind doing it. I mean, I can tell you now, the same feeling I had when I interviewed, whether it was Mario or Chris Brown, is the same feeling I had when I did Pirate Radio and I spoke for the first time. So I was like, what, like 16 or something like that. And I was in the room, cold, dark room, just me in there, soundproofed everything. And then someone must have messaged the phone, whatever song I was playing. They were like, oh, pull up the song and big up such and such. But my MC hadn't turned up at the time. So I'm just like, oh, what do I do here, kind of thing. And I remember I pressed stop on the turntable, and it made that like reverb kind of sound. And then the whole room just went like this. And then I'd put the mic on and it had it like that slight feedback sound here. And I'm just literally in this room on my own. But for whatever reason in my head, all I saw was like 1 million people looking at me. Because obviously it's pirate radio, you don't know how many people. It could be like 3 people, or it could be like the whole of London listening to you. And I was like, big up, whatever the name was. As soon as I said that, it's like a weight was just lifted. And then after that, I'm just there, yeah, big up whoever, like, yeah, call this number, do whatever. And then it just went from there, you know?
Seems like throughout your journey, there's been several like situations where you've had that kind of maybe like initial nerves, and then the moment you've done it, you've just been like, actually, like, this is a breeze.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it is. I mean, I'd still say I'm not 100% on the mic in terms of club-wise, like radio and stuff like that. Yeah, I know I can do. But it's more probably because I just love DJing so much. I feel like when I do the mic, it takes away from that side, you know? Yeah. That's what I feel with that.
Do you feel the same, Giovanni? Because obviously you love the mic.
Yeah, he loves to talk, so it's different.
No, do you know what? You know what's mad? I don't actually like to talk. Like on a like level, like when I'm at home and stuff, I just prefer to just chill. Like, and it's like when I'm on the mic, like, and it's changed recently. Like, but historically, like in order to kind of get into that mood, I had to have a drink or whatever to kind of get into that zone. Whereas now, obviously, I can get into that zone without it and stuff. But I actually prefer to kind of like especially as I've gotten older, actually, I think I've gone from being extroverted to introverted, but I guess there's certain times when this persona comes out, if that makes sense.
No,
So as our lives evolve and as you've evolved anyway, like I'm sure you're still extroverted at the gym with all your gym people, but it's just that you're not so interested in drinking and all of that kind of scene. Obviously you enjoy your job and you enjoy DJing, but doing the extracurricular stuff, like it's not really for you anymore. So it's no surprise that you're not as extroverted there. What about for you? You've been in the nightlife scene for years and years now. So have you found yourself enjoying all the extracurricular stuff, the drinking and all of that kind of thing?
And the thing is, everyone around me knew that. No one ever tried to be like, oh, I have a, like, obviously there's always been people, but it's more of in a jokey way. But I think initially it started with my mum. So when I was young, obviously, until I could actually drive, my mum would literally take me to the front of the club, and then she'd be there when I finish. Doesn't matter what time of the day, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, she'd be out front and center. So when she's dropping me, she's telling security, like, listen, look after my son. And I'm just like, oh my God. Through that, I guess people build relationships. So not only they obviously knew who my mum was, but they knew who I was, you know? So, and then they knew, you know, they see you all the time. So it's like, oh, you don't drink? I'm like, nah, I don't. So then it just becomes one of those things, do you know what I mean? And then it just continues. But yeah, I've never done it.
I remember when you told me that you didn't drink, and I had the exact same reaction as you. But
it's probably the Trini blood. We just love to party, so yeah. But nah, I mean, like I said, my thing has always been DJing, so that's what's always kept me going. So I don't really care about whatever else. I just want to hear the tune, do what I'm doing, and enjoy that. That's my enjoyment.
Do you ever enjoy other people's sets as well? Like go to the club to hear other people, or is it more a case of you just go to do your set and then go?
It depends who it is. I mean, back then, I definitely would have been out more or listening to or with other DJs. Now, not so much. But now it's probably a mixture because of I work so much and the level isn't as good. So I'm not really interested in hearing anyone. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, at that time, there was a lot more going on, and I think the level, the skill set was definitely higher. So there was a lot of people that I'd want to hear, and again, you're still learning as well. So say like the first time I heard EZ or Shorty Blitz or Heartless Crew and stuff like, because again, you're hearing these people on radio or you're seeing flyers and tape packs or listening to tape packs. So when you see them live, it's like, oh wow, you know. So yeah, like those, it makes sense for me. It was like, yeah, I want to go and see these people. Or stay after my set, because if I'm doing it early or something like that or whatever, then yeah.
What's your thoughts on that point? What's your thoughts on like technology and, you know, technology and DJing and in terms of like obviously coming from when you came up, you know, you talked about belt drives and, you know, and stuff like that. So and compared to now where, you know, DJ and technology can assist in so many ways, like what's your thoughts on that?
I always say it's a gift and a curse. Because personally, I was always vinyl till the end. I'm like, no, I'm not getting rid of my vinyl. I'm not coming off turntablers. And then CDJs came out, like the 1000s, not the ones before that. Because once you could, where was I? Cyprus. That was the first place I ever used the CDJs, the 1000. And I'm seeing these DJs there, they're spinning back the thing and they're like doing like baby scratches. I'm just like, what the hell are they using? I'm like, and they said, yes, this CDJ, it's a new one. I'm like, they were like, don't you have it in England? I'm like, no. Our clubs have literally got the trays and stuff, you know? So I was like, okay, cool. And because I was going to Cyprus a lot, I managed to use them quite a bit, but then see what they're about. So I'm like, okay, cool. That's what turned my mind a bit of like, okay, if this gets put everywhere, then I'll switch to CDs and then slowly go that way. But now I'm at a point where, yeah, I'm CDJs all day, but that's because I can do more on CDJs than I can on vinyl, because obviously there's more things on the actual deck. So it's helped in that sense, but then it's also a hindrance to a degree, because for me, I always say, like, when you're learning, it's like driving. If you learn a manual, you can drive anything. If you learn an automatic, you can only drive an automatic. Do you know what I mean? So with DJing, it's the same thing. It's hard to explain if you've never done it, but learning on vinyl just gives you, especially, it's more mixing by ear, but when you mix by ear, the feeling, the sound, just everything is just different than just looking, okay, this is 100, all right, cool, let me just, there you go, this is 100 now. Like you yourself have no feeling with, it sounds weird to say again unless you've done it, with the equipment, with the vibe, with anything that's going on. Do you know what I mean? You're just literally matching up numbers. Or if it's, you know, on Serato, you're looking at the waves, for example, you're just looking at 2 waves, okay, this is lined up, this is lined up. But the problem with that is you then encounter issues of, not everyone obviously, but a DJ might just be like, right, these 2 songs go together, look, they say the same tempo, but they're completely different genres. So it's like, okay, where we going in terms of the vibe? Or they're playing 2 songs that are the same genre, but for example, not that you have to mix everything in key, but the keys are wrong. So now it just doesn't sound right sonically, you know? So again, it comes back down to your ears.
So you said before that you used to teach and you've had the experience in teaching. I'm assuming it's kids that you taught, or were you one of those teachers that enjoyed teaching with the new equipment, or were you like, back in my day?
No, at the time it was still on vinyl. I don't think I did a bit in COVID, to be honest. Obviously that was like on new stuff, but at that time it was on vinyl. So yeah, it was definitely had to be done by ear. So yeah, it was pretty straightforward. But again, it comes back down to what can you hear? You know, if you don't have rhythm, or you can't hear the beat structure. I say to everyone, it's like, I can teach you the technical side, like how to, you know, this is the speed, this is whatever. But I can't make you hear something. If you can't hear it, you can't hear it.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, because when I started podcasting like years ago, when I first came to Dubai, the people that I started podcasting with, they were like, yeah, sure, you can get involved, but you have to learn how to DJ. And I was like, okay. So I got myself some decks. I started trying it out. But yeah, this thing that you say about having, like, I don't have it. I ain't got it. I can't remember songs, and I can't do this thing that you're saying about doing. Like, there's much more to DJing than matching the numbers together, for sure.
But again, in theory, it would have been easier because you could just look at the numbers, for example. But even then, sometimes it's not accurate. So even if they both say 100, one might be like 100.5, so it's slightly out. So initially you're like, oh look, this is great, and then all of a sudden starts going out. But that's when the hearing
I've got one mix that I have ever recorded of myself, and sometimes it pops up on my iTunes, and I'm like,
you need to send me that mix. Send me that mix.
No, it's not on my laptop, it's on my old laptop.
On your laptop.
And I will never, ever, ever let you hear it. It is terrible. So yeah, when they're saying like either you have it or you don't have it, like, yeah, I ain't got it. But yeah, you know, when you're seeing everyone pressing the buttons and everything, well, all the DJs pressing the buttons when you're out, like being naive, thinking, what are they really doing? I'm here to tell you, they're really doing stuff.
You're playing one Afro song, and then your next song is hip hop, and then your next song is back to Afro, then your next song is maybe dancehall. It's like, where are we going? Mm-hmm. Like, you know,
yeah.
There's no structure. There's no journey. You're just playing songs.
I want to talk to you about being a DJ, you know, self-employed essentially. Like, I guess for you, you know, you've spoken of all the opportunities that you've had, and you know, you've been very blessed to have those opportunities and that. But has there ever been a period in your life, you know, like where you've looked at it, like, you know, for example, maybe it was COVID, or there's been a period of time when you've like been like, damn, actually, like, I'm a bit nervous, you know, like, how am I gonna provide, or how am I gonna pay the bills, etc.
I'd say that's probably the main time. I mean, because like anything, I mean, it depends on if you did a 9 to 5 in a certain field. But for us, for example, I was always used to, like in England, January to March, maybe April. Might have got shorter now, but that was like for DJs. That like most people didn't even have bookings. If you did, you were like the bigger DJs. So I was always kind of used to that. So having ups and downs and stuff, I was always used to. Personally, for me, COVID, it was actually, I don't want to say a blessing in disguise because it wasn't, but in all the years I've been DJing up until that point, I've never been on holiday. Everywhere I've been is for work. So every time I've traveled, I've never just gone somewhere for a week and just done nothing. Yeah. So when COVID happened, obviously it was worrying, but all I could think of in my head was, for the first time, like, I'm on the same level as everyone else. Like, if I don't work, no one's going ahead of me, or no one's pushing out more content or doing whatever they're doing. Like, everyone's on the same level now. And then in terms of money, it's like, well, no one's got any money unless you've got obviously your savings and stuff like that. But it is what it is, you know. And funny thing is, me and my wife, we're home people. So for us, I wouldn't say it was great, but it was just like, for me anyway, I was like, I don't have to go anywhere, and I don't have to think about making money because no one can't make any money. So what is there to do? What, be in the house? I'm like, I've always made it so that my house and wherever I live, that's my sanctuary. So I have everything I need there, whatever it may be. So COVID didn't bother us to that degree in terms of being in the house and things like that. We actually enjoyed it, to be fair. But yeah, it was worrying in the sense of having no money. But like I said, I mean, what can you do? Everyone was in that same position. All it made me think of was that, right, I've got this time off. Let me utilize that and actually have time off, like actual time off. Because like I said, it's just always constantly been work. So now it's like, well, oh, it's a week? Okay, I won't do nothing for a week. But I won't even think about music. I won't make music. I won't jump on the decks. I won't do anything. Then all of a sudden it's 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then it's just gone on. And it's just like, oh, okay, now I'm starting to slowly switch off and just forget about everything. So yeah, that's the only time I really switched off. But I wouldn't really say I was worried, because I knew, like, okay, well, once it's done, now it's just get back to it. Like, now it's go time. Like, okay, I have to recoup everything, you know?
Yeah. I feel like you've throughout your career, you've always like had, you know, you talked at the start of the pod about this app that you're going to put out and stuff. Yeah. I feel like you've always had this kind of, I don't want to call it a side hustle or a side project, but you know, like you had the Angry DJ stuff, and then now you've got the Dope and Clean stuff. So like, talk to us about those two things.
I mean, the Angry DJ, the Angry DJ thing, that was funny, because that's when
sometimes you look like an angry DJ as well. Like sometimes, you know,
that happened when I was at Oceana, when I used to do Oceana in the UK, and I used to do that like 3 times a week, like as a residency. And again, it was more of like a younger crowd, so like uni students basically. And obviously, if you're just starting to rave, sometimes, or depending on how you've been brought up, you don't know the ins and outs of a rave. So you're coming in, say it opens at 10 o'clock. You're walking in at 10 o'clock, and whatever the biggest tune is, I don't know, Cartel Fever. Yeah, play Cartel. I'm like, first of all, relax, take your jacket off. You just came in, go over it. Do you know what I mean? So this started happening like crazy regular, to the point where there was one night it just got too much, and I just started switching on everybody because they were doing my head in. Because again, they literally come in, and for the first hour they were just consistently asking for whatever. And yeah, so then on the way home, I was with my boy SJ, you know, and at the time he was printing a clothing line. He had a clothing line called Exclusive, so that's actually how we met. He wanted me to wear that and stuff like that. So we were wearing that, and then I got so vexed. I was in the car. I said, it wasn't even Angry DJ. I said, listen, when you get back, I want you to make a T-shirt and say, I'm not your iPod, and on the back say, fuck off and dance. Yeah. I said, that's what I want. And he started laughing. I was like, nah, bro, I'm serious. I said, put on the front, I'm not your iPod, and then on the back, because if they say anything, I'm just going to turn around like this or whatever. So he was like, all right, cool. And then we were just talking, and then I can't remember who even said it, but it was just like, oh, yeah, like, you're a proper angry DJ. I'm just like, I'm not even angry. I'm just vexed at these people.
Because DJing is actually your craft. Like, you actually enjoy it. So I'm sure you're there like, don't tell me what to do.
Yeah, and that's the thing as well, in terms of what a lot of people don't realize, especially newer DJs, it's like they're afraid to express themselves. So for me, regardless of my technical side and whatever, what I play is what I like. Like, yeah, okay, cool, I'm going to play what I think the crowd wants to hear. But I'll go back to vinyl days, which is why I say about how the DJs are different. Because when you were buying vinyl, one song was like minimum, because I used to work in a record shop. Even though I was a job, I was still DJing all day. But yeah, one song was like, what, £5 minimum, £6? Now you can go on iTunes, buy a song for 59p, 69, 79p, 99. Like, so if one song is £5, and that's back then. And like I said, that was minimum. More time, that was if you went, the shop's not there no more, if you went HMV. But if you went to the record shops, they were like £8, £9, £10. If it wasn't, it's like when Eskimo first came out, when Wiley did Eskimo or Little Bit of Luck, that was on like a red vinyl. That was like £20 for one song. So now think about me as a DJ. I'm not even getting money like that. I have to buy what I like. Because obviously things are on the radio and stuff, fine, but what's my taste? What do I like? And then you go to the club and then this is your style. This is what you like. So fast forward to now, everyone has access to everything, which is fine, but what do you like? Do you know what I mean? So play your style, play what you like, you know?
Most of the places, you know exactly what song they're going to play next. Like, I don't even go out often, but I feel like when I am going out, I'm thinking, this is the same playlist that I heard in 2017. Like, there's been so many songs that have been released since then. Play me something new.
But then, I hear what you're saying on that sense, but again, it depends on where you're going and the time of the night you're going. So for me, for example, I do a lot of main sets. Obviously, Giovanni does main sets as well, but doing the main set, the way clubs work or just parties in general, people want to hear what they know. So you said you don't go out often, but when you do go out, I'm sure you want to hear the songs you know. But again, that's because music's accessible to everybody now. But you know a lot of songs, but you want to hear the stuff you know. But let's just say the theme of the night. Yeah, because it's cool, you may know some obscure new song that just came out, but the other 499 people don't.
For me, just being a general person, human in the club, I feel like so many DJs, I don't want to generalize, but a lot of DJs are mixing exactly the same song together.
That's one, partly DJs copying what they've seen works. And that's also two, just from a sonic point of view, like there was a time where like Bobby Schmurder, about a week ago, like that.
Yeah.
Everyone mixes that with then Young M.A. People were also mixing, I think, was it G-Eazy, No Limit with the ASAP tune.
And it's funny because like, you know, like you go to a club and like guaranteed like it's an old song, but one of the songs that seems to still get people dancing is a song like Party Animal, which is like 2008 or whatever. And it's like, but there's a lot of new music that's come out. But then if you played like the dancehall song that came out yesterday, it's just gonna go over people's heads. So yeah, so that's how Angry DJs came about.
Yeah, that's how Angry DJ came about. Sorry, we came back to that. That's how Angry DJ came about. I was just vexed, and then
Did people listen to the T-shirt?
Yeah, a few. But then the funny thing is, from that just stemmed in. We just made too many because then they were just crazy slogans like no requests and stuff like that. But then people were interested in it, and then the issue became. Obviously, we were making it, but then it's like everyone just wanted it for free. And I'm kind of like, okay, it costs money to do all of this. Do you know what I mean? I can't just keep giving out stuff for free. Like, it doesn't make sense. But then as time went on, it was also a case of, there's nothing wrong with the logo, but it just didn't sit right in certain places. You can just wear it, like, saying like a high-end West End venue, for example. It just didn't sit right. And then also with the Instagram, like the Instagram blew up, but then we were started to realize that when we were posting like the clothes, it would get like 40 likes, 50 likes. But then if we posted, like started doing memes and stuff, like, I don't know, DJ Fails or whatever, thousands of likes and interaction and stuff like that. So it was kind of like, okay, so, yeah, well, it's not, but the thing is, we were still getting interest in it, but it was just like, well, they're more like, this is when the time started to shift anyway with the whole internet thing. So it was like, okay, cool, it's there if we need it, but you know, it is what it is. And then with the Dope and Clean thing, that was just an idea I had again to have something that can sit alongside like other brands. So like not like on a shelf with like Louis or anything like that, more just the look of it. Because especially over here, like you could smoke in the clubs and stuff, and I was just like, listen, I'm not wearing no expensive clothes and then 2, 3 washes, 4 washes, because like I said, I'm playing out every night or most nights. So it's like, I'm not doing that. So I'll just make my own stuff and then I have as many as they want, but it's like it says, it's dope, it's clean, it's just, you know what I mean, it looks smart, you can literally wear it anywhere. So yeah, that's how that came about. And then yeah,
you've had such a long, successful career where you've done so many different things, and we've touched on a lot of points, but I want to delve into the artist side of things now, because obviously, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's a few DJs that are connected to certain artists and things like that, and now you have your own standalone DJ career where you're not connected to any kind of artist. But I'm interested to know about how you felt when you're DJing for artists, and how was that experience for you?
Yeah, I mean, the artist thing, that came, it's a bit of both really. It came from the clubs, and then it also came from like the interviews and stuff. You just know people and things like that. And then I guess as time goes on, you know, you start making music just in general. And then obviously through people, you know, it's like, oh, look, I've got this song. What do you want to do? Or can we do something, etc. It's kind of, yeah, just kind of went from there really. I did Japan with Alicia Dixon.
And this was when she came out of Mystique and she was doing the solo career.
Yeah.
So that's when she's like pop star Alicia Dixon. Yeah.
So yeah, I did that. And then a lot of the other stuff was, I guess, mainly through Twice as Nice, to be honest, because Twice as Nice was like the biggest urban brand in, I'd say Europe, to be fair. So whether it was up and down the UK, Ibiza, Marbella, all these places, we'd have the event there, wherever, in whatever club, and then whatever artists would come there and things like that. So again, just meeting them that way led to, you know, if I've, like, to where I am now, really, if I've got a song, I can hit someone up and be like, yo, what do you think of this, or whatever, you know?
You work hard, clearly. You've got that kind of mind where you're like, let me keep going until I'm top tier.
That's literally what it is. I mean, with production, I have my moments. Like, I'm sure my wife doesn't like it when I start making something at like 12:01. She knows it's a wrap after that, because I'm just up until it's at a point where it's like, okay, I can do this tomorrow. But once I start something, I'm just fully focused. I don't see or hear anything else.
Is there, like, I know you've mentioned a load of names, but are there any like standout names in particular in the music industry that you would say have either inspired you or, you know, helped you in your career? I know you've mentioned Steps.
There's loads, to be honest. Inspiration wise, I'd say my main inspirations were, when I started, would definitely be EZ, Shorty Blitz, Heartless Crew. And then as things expanded, like when I started playing everything else, obviously the internet wasn't around. Obviously I knew who like Jazzy Jeff and stuff was, but like there'd be like CLK, Jazzy Jeff, obviously. Even like some of the big house DJs, to be fair. Because obviously I was doing IB and things like that, so I'd see them and how they would blend stuff, like Roger Sanchez and stuff like that. So it's quite a few in terms of like looking up to. And then obviously, like I said, when you meet people like Matt Jam Lamont, Master Steps, all these people, it's like, it's just influences from all over the place, you know? And then in terms of obviously coming through, like when I started, there was a collective called GNs. So that was like Longers, Dags, Budger, Scribs, like they were from the area. So what they would do, they would play everything. So like they would play dancehall, hip hop, whatever. So then when they'd have events, they would bring me to play the garage as like part of that. So then that got me out even more. Do you know what I mean? To different areas, different crowds and stuff like that. So yeah, who else is there? There's a lot of people. There is a lot of people that's either helped or been there. Reds, Reggie. Making me think a lot now.
Don't you find it crazy that you've had all these people that have inspired you and kept you going, and now you are that person for other people?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always there for all of them. Anytime they need anything or whatever's needed, it's always there. Because like I said, I consider these people my family.
I'm talking more so about how you used to, as a kid or young adult, look at the flyers and be like, I want to be on that poster with those people, with those DJs. And now I'm sure there's other young adults that are looking at, well, we're not posters now in this day and age, but looking at your Instagram and looking at the online flyers and being like, I want to be like Scottie B.
I think Giovanni said a few things, but it's only, I've had it, but then it's only the last, I'd say 5 to 10 years, especially with like Instagram and stuff anyway. I get a lot of messages through there, and it's crazy to know, or I'd post, say like one of the albums I did, like a Twice a Nice album or Pure Funky House or something like that. And people are like, oh yeah, I remember that, and I had that. I'm like, really? I'm like, it's crazy because, again, when you do these things, you don't really know how far they go, or like who has them or whatever, you know. So when people do message or they say like, yeah, you inspired me, or I look up to you in terms of what you do, or like, for example, like when I'm scratching, it's like, yeah, you scratch differently to have other people do, and I'm kind of like, I do, like, but again, I'm just in my own, I just do what I do kind of thing, you know. Yeah. So when people say it, it's like, oh wow, okay, it's good to know, because then again, it means I'm doing something right and trying to, you know, definitely inspire people.
Like I said, you've worked so hard in your career. There's been so much you have done, so many opportunities that you've pursued. Have there been any opportunities that you've said, nah, this isn't for me?
I guess from the TV and the radio stuff, I'd always try anything. If I think it can help elevate me or help something, then I guess I'd say I'd always try to a degree. Like even with an artist, I remember doing a song with Scottie D. Funny enough, he hit me up, and obviously initially when we did it, in my head I was like, okay, obviously it's going to be more to the Asian market, but I'm not in that market. I don't know. So why am I going to say no? Because if it works or doesn't work, that's just people that know me in another field that I'm not there. You know, if it's, I don't know, someone comes up again with a TV opportunity or something. Again, it depends what it is. But I don't think I'd turn anything down per se. It just kind of depends what it is, you know? Because, yeah, like I said, everything's kind of just forward motion, you know?
So, like, now you're in Dubai. You've been there, was it now 5 years? 5?
No, I've been there
about 6?
10.
Oh, 10? Oh.
It's been on and off. So we came 2014, left in 2018, because it was the way the things were going on here, like the clubs and stuff. It wasn't great. So we were like, yeah, let's go back to the UK. Don't know why we did, because when we got back, we were like, why did we come back here? And then COVID happened, and then it was like, yeah, as soon as that first lockdown lifted, it was like, yeah, we're gone.
Yeah.
So
and so that was around sort of 2020 to like 21, was it 2020?
Well, soon as whatever that first lockdown was, we just came straight back. So yeah, we was basically gone for what, a year or something like that. Yeah.
So yes, similar sort of time to when I first come out, like to actually live and stuff.
Yeah.
So like, what's next for Scottie? Obviously, you know, you've mentioned the app, and you know, like 5 years, 10 years down the line, like for you, like, is it still your goal to kind of be doing the main sets and stuff, or are you going to step into the production more, or are you going to kind of go off on another sort of tangent? What's on your pipeline?
Any and everything, to be honest. Like I said, I mean, I've always said I'll be DJing until my hands stop working. So like, that's just what I love doing. So yeah, I mean, obviously the app's there. I think for me, I've kind of placed everything in a way where if things really, really pop, like, again, it depends what we call, like, you know, making it and whatever. If it really gets to a certain level, then everything's in place. You know what I mean? Whether it be clothing lines, if I need to go and do radio but on a bigger scale, or TV on a bigger scale, like, everything's there or been done. The groundwork's been done.
Yeah.
With you working so hard on your craft for years and years, and obviously you've had your beautiful wife for years and years as well, I'm so interested to know, or if there's any advice that you have for other people who are trying to simultaneously have both, which is what you have. There's so many people that are working really hard on their careers, trying to be top of their game, and they often lack or dismiss or don't spend enough time on their relationships, and vice versa. There's a lot of people that spend a lot of time on their relationships, which then has more of a detrimental impact on the success that they have in their career. Is there any advice that you can give to people to help people have both simultaneously? Because I don't know about everyone else, but for me, having both is very, very important.
Find someone you like. Because the funny thing is, away from what I'm going to say, is in general, I see a lot of just, not even in the industry, just in general, when people are like, oh, whether it's the man or the woman, like, yeah, I don't like her, or I want to, I stay out longer because I don't want to go home. And I'm thinking, so why are you with the person? Do you see what I'm saying? Like I said, like in lockdown, it was great for us. Like we actually just love being together. Do you know what I mean? And not only that, like obviously when we got together, she knew what I did and what I'm about, which is everything we spoke about. Do you know what I mean? So she knows what it is for me. Like I'll never stop her doing anything. But yeah, I mean, it's once you have an understanding with the other person about, you know, what both your lives are and what each other's likes and dislikes and stuff are, then as long as there's communication, then I think there's no real issue per se. Do you know what I mean? Like I said, we both like the same things, so we don't really like going out per se, even though I'm out all the time. But that's probably why, to be honest, because my work is, I'd say, a normal person's fun time. Do you see what I'm saying? So like I always say, when you finish work, you don't want to go back to the office. So when I'm not DJing, I don't want to go to a club. And yeah, like I'd say we like the same things, no? Ish.
So find someone you like and have good communication.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, basically once you have that, then anything's possible, really. Because I mean, I don't stop her doing anything. If she wants to go out, if she wants to go see friends or like, like, what am I gonna
blink twice?
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing there. And like I said, for me, my job is obviously quote unquote fun time, so she can always come out, bring people, whatever. And then yeah, I mean, what else is there?
It's funny you say that though, because I feel like people probably from the outside don't see that side of, oh, it's actually work. Like people that are going out think,
they always think it's fun.
Yeah, they think
even
like,
with the traveling,
yeah.
people think it's fun. Like when I used to travel, like for what? I mean, I've started a bit more now, but even then, I stopped the travel for a while because it just got too much. For about 7-8 years, I was on a plane from May to October, like minimum once a week. But then when it got to like July to say August, or June to August, it was like probably 3 times a week. Like I was literally flying more than I was driving, and it was just, it's not fun. People think it's fun, like, oh yeah, we're always going here. And I'm like, I remember there was one time I was with Kat from MTV, the comedian, and we were going to somewhere in Greece. And I remember, I think it was like probably there and back, in the space of 24 hours, we had McDonald's 3 times in the same airport. Like that's when I really knew. I was just like, yeah, this is because there was literally nothing. It was one of those dead airports that literally all it had was like bread and cheese or a McDonald's. So it was like, it just gets to the point where you're just like, no, this isn't like cool. When we're at the club and we're DJing, yeah, cool, that's fun and that's fine. Initially, yeah, in the first, early 20s, whatever, like, yeah, look, I'm traveling everywhere and yeah, it's great. And then when you literally do it so much, it's just like,
the novelty wears off, man.
Yeah, trust me.
Have you ever burnt out? Because like for me, I'll be real. When I first came to Dubai, especially coming out of the back of lockdown, and being busy with DJing and stuff, I was enjoying it at first. I was single, like I was, and then I think it got to a point where I probably took on too much, and then I just started to hate it. Like I
think maybe that's, I don't know. Everyone's different. For me, where I've always just been a workaholic, I think, for example, after COVID, I just went 400. I was doing 7 nights a week, 13 bookings, like nearly 2 a day, different venues. Like I was just, but that, I'd say that's the closest I've felt to, that's probably the second time I've felt semi-burnout, because that was a lot. There was one time I did like 3 countries in 3 days. It took like 6 or 7 planes or something. And by the time I landed back to do a set, I was literally dizzy. I was like, yeah, this is mad. But then even then, I think I just went home, slept, and then the next day I was back to it. So yeah, I mean, I probably have had it, to be fair. I just, because like I said, I'm always so focused on just working. I just get on with it.
Yeah.
Like some people, that maybe nothing against you or whatever, but like maybe again it comes back to, like I said, where I pushed myself so much in the beginning. Like playing for me is like second nature. Like it doesn't really affect me.
But also, you're just playing, like you're playing and playing, like you're going back to the office.
But yeah, I think that was a part of it. But I also think as well, because I'd come from a period of time, like literally, obviously everyone had lockdown in the UK and stuff. And then when I came to Dubai, it wasn't just the DJ, and I was also like throwing events as well. Yeah. So it was kind of just like to the point, and then it got to the point, and I was like, and I guess it's like, you know, playing music that not necessarily like is fulfilling to my soul. Do you know what I mean?
So that also help. Yeah. That also makes it an issue. I mean, yeah, that doesn't help at all. But that's why, again, I go back to it's a job. It's like, yeah, cool, I enjoy it, but yeah, when I get there, I do my set. When it's done, I'm leaving. Unless I need to speak to someone or whatever, I don't need to be there.
Yeah.
You know, especially when it's a residency. If it's somewhere I've never been and stuff like that, that's different. But over here, obviously, we have our residencies, different nights.
Yeah, the
whatever.
weekly stuff in this.
Yeah, with the weekly stuff, we know what the venues are. We know everyone basically. So yeah, I'll turn up, do my set, finish, I'll go. You know.
You have had a journey. So I want to ask you, before we close up, is there any particular advice you want to give to people who are on their journey too?
Everyone's journey is different. Like I said, just be truthful to yourself, and like don't really watch what anyone else's success is. Like pick the goals for yourself. Do you know what I mean? If you say, I want to be, I don't know, like I said, an artist, tour DJ, and then you get that, then cool, obviously you can then make goals from there, but just be focused and be true with yourself. Like, bro, I've actually made this. Do you know what I mean? Like, I can't, funny enough, and I tell her, like, I remember writing something saying, where was it? It was at my mum somewhere. I remember seeing it, and it was like, yeah, I don't know why I even wrote it. It was like, yeah, I want to be DJing in Ironik and something else. Honestly, can't remember what it said. I know that was one of them, which is funny because I'm going to Napa on Saturday. But when I play full banners and everything with my face, and it's crazy because I think one of the times I went there, I looked up and I was like, right, I actually remember I said I wanted to do this, but it didn't even clock to me because I do it every year. You know, but then that's something I wrote when I was like, 16, 17, I guess. You know, so yeah, just do you, basically. Like, just stay focused and do you, because yeah, there's no one can do it for you, really. It's just you.
Yeah, and I think as well, like what you said at the beginning, in terms of, you know, you just gave your mix to someone and you took that chance. You believed in yourself, and then you stepped out, and you know, because you can't just sit there and wait for things, right? You have to kind of action it as well. So.
Oh no, 100%. You have to. Like, I know I like staying in the house, but I have to get out sometimes. Because funny enough, even me just turning up at places, like, I'll get work from that. I don't even have to do anything. Because the person's seen me, it's just like, oh yeah, rare, and then all of a sudden work's there. Do you know what I mean? So you do have to put yourself about. But again, you know, some people are better at talking and I guess faking it till you make it. So they can do all of that and they end up getting stuff. And then other people, it's like, it takes a bit more for them, like you said, to maybe give a mix or even approach somebody to ask, like, oh, can we work together or whatever, you know. It takes a lot. So I'll just say, just do it. Because you never know. What's the worst they could say is no, innit?
True, man. We have a closing tradition in the podcast. We ask all our guests this question. If you could implement one rule for everyone in the world to follow, what would it be and why?
Wow. One rule, you know.
This isn't how to be a millionaire. There's no ask a friend.
Well, like, even going on what you said, I guess it's kind of like think, or like, you know, think before you kind of speak or...
No, we're not helping him anymore. This is Scottie B's rule.
What was it? One rule.
One
that they have
rule,
to
yeah.
live by.
Every human in this world has to live by this rule.
I'll just say be kind, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
Yeah. Fair. That's a good one. Yeah.
Lots of our guests say this, to be fair.
Yeah, no, of course. Because listen, I'm still kind. You know what? You'd know this, and people do say this online. Like, if you approach, it's like anything. Like, even you as a girl, if someone approaches you in the wrong, you're not gonna be like, yeah, I'll give you money. You'll be like, no, like you're gonna be the same way. You're not gonna be kind to them in whatever way. Do you see what I'm saying? So if you come up to me and you just push your phone in my face, or because I always do this on purpose. Sometimes when I see people coming near me, I actively just be more like, just do more things.
Busy.
Even if I'm not, I just look more busy just to show like, listen, I'm actually doing something. But that still doesn't stop people, because there's been times like, say my arm's on the deck here and someone will literally push my arm to get my attention, and like, it's just crazy. Because imagine if you're on a keyboard at work and someone just comes in and just starts doing all of that, like, you're gonna be like, what are you doing? Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it's not.
So be
it's not
kind.
nice.
If you want to give a song request, write it on a piece of paper and slip it over.
And like in certain cultures as well, and another way, if you want the track played again, another way to be kind is just to drop the money on the...
Fair. Drop the money.
Yeah, be kind and drop money. There you go.
No, nice, man. No, Scottie, bro, it's been a pleasure having you on, man. Like, I've said this to you before, but like, like I said, for me as a DJ, and even before DJing as a music lover, like growing up in London, I knew about you even before I wanted to be a DJ. Like, I knew of Scottie B, like from Choice FM, Twice as Nice, all of that. So no, it's good to have you on the podcast. We appreciate you, man, and you deserve your flowers. So thanks for coming through, bro.
Thank you, my bro.
Thank you.